Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of State of the Economy. I am Ronendra Singh. Today we have with us Mr. Vinod Aggarwal, President of Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers. In June, we have seen growth and improvement in the overall automobile market and domestic sales. For example, in the total passenger vehicle sales, we have grown to 3,27,487 in June 2023 as compared to 3,20,985 units in June 22. In the two-wheeler segment also, we have grown to 13,30,826 units during the month as compared to 13,08,764 units. In terms of three-wheelers, we have almost doubled the growth to 53,019 units during the month of June as compared to 26,701 units in the month of June 2022. In the quarter also, between April and June, the total passenger vehicle sales have grown to 9,95,974 units as compared to 9,10,495 units in the period of April to June in 2022. In the total commercial vehicles, however, we have seen that during the first quarter, the sales have declined to 2,17,046 units as compared to 2,24,488 units in April-June quarter 2022. In the two-wheeler segment, which has been growing over the last few months now, so during the first quarter also, as per the SIAM's latest report, the sales have grown to 41,40,964 units during the April-June quarter in the domestic market as compared to 37,24,533 units. To talk about more, we'll ask Mr. Aggarwal on the overall industry and the future of the automobile sector in India, especially with the festive season kicking off from next month with Onam in Kerala. Hello, Mr. Aggarwal. The 2022 was the best in terms of overall sales in the automobile sector. So, do we expect similar growth this year too?
Auto sector as a whole is doing very well. If you look at the figures of quarter one, I think the entire industry has shown good growth. If you look at passenger vehicles, we have a growth of 10% in quarter one. In two-wheelers, we have a growth of 11% in quarter one. In three-wheelers, we have a growth of 89% in quarter one. In commercial vehicles, if you look at buses, we have a growth of more than 30%. If you look at heavy-duty trucks, we have a growth of 10%. There has been some concern in light and medium-duty trucks, but that also I think it's a aberration. So we are not too much worried about that. So overall, auto sector is doing very well.
When it comes to monthly numbers, we have seen that total passengers have grown, but in that also the passenger cars have declined a bit during the month of June. So what could be the reason for that?
We don't bring too much focus on month because you should look at slightly longer term, because if you look at quarterly figures, there is overall growth of 10% in passenger vehicles.
But in the two-wheelers also, while the motorcycle sales have grown, similarly, like passenger cars, in the two-wheeler segment also, the scooter sales have declined. What could be the reason? Is it because of the EV demand, electric vehicles are more in demand, or because of the rural markets which is still not picked up?
Rural markets, they are better, I would say, as compared to the previous periods. So therefore, the demand in the rural economy is getting better. But two-wheelers, basically, the reason is that the costs have gone up significantly especially for the you can say the lower category of or entry-level scooters and entry-level motorcycles because of various reasons. For example, all the regulatory related norms, compliances has led to very, you can say disproportionate impact for the entry level vehicles. Similarly, for two-wheelers, the insurance also is now mandatory for, I think, 3 years. So that also has created some additional impact on the cost. Similarly, the interest rates also create some, impact on the entry level, because entry level it is very, very price sensitive. So the increase in these costs has led to some impact on the entry level scooters and motorcycles, and that is the result. That is the reason that the two-wheeler overall industry is still much lower than the earlier peak levels.
Right.
Even though the passenger vehicles and the all other segments,
Right.
we are now touching new peaks, but the two-wheelers we are still away from the earlier peak.
Right. Is it because of the financing also, where they are not getting their two-wheelers financed from the banks and they are not opened it yet?
I think financing per se is not the problem. Financing is only the problem in case the credit rating of the buyer is not good.
Right.
So otherwise financing is not the concern.
Right. And in the three-wheeler segment also, it has almost doubled the sales. Is it because of the electric three-wheelers which is contributing to the overall sales numbers during the month of June?
This was also the base impact, because three-wheelers, if you look at the past trends, I think we were much lower than the earlier peak, so the demand is coming back. And then, of course, there is also the electric three-wheelers also have grown very well.
Coming back to passenger cars, the mini segment is still in decline mode. So what could be the reason? Is it again the rural market share which is not coming? What is the reason?
In passenger vehicles, there is also a lot of migration that has happened towards the entry-level utility vehicles. So some reason is also that more of the consumers who were earlier buying entry-level cars, they are also considering now entry-level utility vehicles.
Right. So can you throw some more light on the commercial vehicle sales, because overall demand and supply chain, how is it happening? Because a lot of constructions are happening, a lot of new highways are being built, but I think the heavy commercial vehicles are still not much in demand. So what could be the reason? And just overall commercial vehicles.
Overall commercial vehicles, I would say it's doing much better, even though it is still lower than the earlier peak levels. But some of the segments within that are above the earlier peak levels. The demand is led by a lot of replacements. There is a lot of pent-up replacement demand. And the reason is because the new trucks which have been designed after BS6, or which have been designed to carry the right payloads as per the new norms which were announced a few years back, they are much more productive. Right. And much better fuel efficient. Right. So therefore it makes a lot of sense to replace the older trucks with the new trucks. Right. And with the better infrastructure, you also need more powerful engines. Right. So that also requires replacement of older trucks. And the new age customers, like for example e-commerce customers, right, they also have lot of demands on productivity. Right. So they also, require specific type of trucks which can deliver in the least possible time, deliver goods at the destinations. So therefore, there is a lot of demand on the productivity. That also leads to a lot of replacement demand. So therefore, replacement demand is strong. The second is infrastructure investments which are happening in the country. That is also leading to a lot of demand for construction trucks. Right. And with the better and better infrastructure, there is a lot of migration towards higher tonnage trucks. Like for example, tractors. There is a lot of migration happening towards the tractors. Right. So therefore, overall, I would say commercial vehicle market is on the right track, and the prospects of commercial vehicle market are also very good.
Can you give us some guidance on the current quarter, especially with the festive season kicking off next month with Onam in Kerala? What could be the impact of sales across the segments?
Current quarter we are very positive because we are expecting good monsoon, and based on that good rural economy, and so festive season should be strong for the auto sector.
What about in the luxury segment? Can we sell above the 40,000 mark, which was one of the best before COVID? Because this year companies have been reporting growth in sales. So do we expect to cross 40,000 mark this year?
Mostly in the luxury segments, I think waiting periods are also very high. Right. So that also indicates good demand in the luxury segment.
Talking about waiting period, I mean, overall, there has been a lot of waiting period, especially with the new launches across the segments. So, what is the industry doing about it?
I think industry is trying to manage the situation on the waiting periods, and definitely the parts which are in short supply, because of which the waiting period is there. I think those are the things which are getting resolved. So hopefully these waiting periods should come down.
And talking about some policies and regulations, I think after the transition to BS6, do we still consider the diesel vehicles as polluting? And in some states like Delhi NCR, they have been banned. They are not valid after 10 years of the purchase. So what is your thought on that as an industry body?
Those are the norms which have been implemented in Delhi. So we are all part of that. We support all those norms. And then of course we have implemented BS6, and we have moved to BS6 OBD2 norms from 1st April 2023. So I think all the new norms are much better environment friendly. So therefore per se there is now no concern, but of course as sustainability agenda we have to move more and more towards the electric vehicles. Which the movement has started, but electric vehicles have their own challenges. So slowly and steadily, you will see more movement towards electric vehicles. But at the same time, we can't say that the diesel per se is not a good fuel.
Okay. And lastly, on the GST slabs, which was announced recently by the finance minister in the GST meeting, there has been a definition on MUVs and SUVs, and there are some confusion there. So, as an industry body, what is your take on that? The slabs of 28% GST on MUVs or SUVs, which are more than 4 meter and above 1500 cc, and they should have 170 mm of ground clearance.
These slabs were already there. They have given some additional clarifications. We still have to study the notification and the impact of that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Aggarwal.